Hi, everyone. This is Peggy with Natural Awakenings Magazine Chicago, and I'm delighted to be here today with Sarah D. Karnes. Sarah's a life changes coach. You can find her website at sarahdkarnes.com, and she's a trailblazer for navigating changes with kindness, strength, and confidence. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yes, thank you. We're so happy to be working with you on the Women in Wellness series that we're running in May, celebrating women health practitioners and women business owners in healthy and wellness focused businesses. It helps if I know how to talk. Now, there's something that you sent us as we were preparing for this section, and this is a favorite quote of yours that I want to bring up. It's from Helen Keller. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. To keep our faces toward change and behave like free spirits in the presence of fate is strength and indefeatable. How does this apply to your work with women, Sarah?
I think the indefeatable piece, it can be on a crazier day. We can feel easily deflated, defeated. And there is another way. We can still be in the middle of 5 messes, whatever that might look like. And you know this in the publishing world, especially when you've got a deadline going. And there is that sense of, I am moving forward towards something. Mm-hmm. And one of the challenges is if we don't know what we're moving forward toward, or we don't start cultivating that dialogue, we can feel like we're just the cork being thrown around the river, which just feeds more of the meh, or the defeated attitude. So the more that we can remember adventure and find the spark, and remember that the spark is not always in the great big kahunas. Sometimes it's in the little things.
The daily joys.
Yeah.
Now, you're the Midwest coordinator for the Way of the Heart. Mm-hmm. And through that, you're offered training to deepen inner guidance, help find people's life purpose. Who do you work with primarily?
I personally work more with women in that role, though we have people in the Way of the Heart from 6-year-olds to 90-year-olds. Really, we run the gamut. If somebody has a clear longing to be engaged in their life mission, if somebody is really tired of just being who other people have always said you should do this, and they've always kind of followed those other pathways, but not really explored what's their pathway.
Yeah.
Those are the people we love working with, because they really do find a way to unhook from some of the old stories and empower those new stories and engage in the daily and consistent dialogue of what is it that lights me up?
Yeah.
And what do I get to light up in the world as a result of that?
What change can I make in this world as a result of finding that?
Yeah.
Sarah, how did you get to this point in your life? Based on your background, based on your life choices, what has been your catalyst for change that has led you to become a life changes coach?
Oh, well, parenting was my biggest catalyst for sure. And for people who aren't parents, I say your projects are your children. Anyway, just I have to say that because sometimes people feel like, no, if I'm not a parent, I haven't. It's like, no, you've navigated. So when parenting really started throwing me for a loop, my children had some challenges, which all children do and all parents do. And I started to feel like I really didn't have any breathing space. I really didn't have any sense of joy. I was going through the motions. And I knew that A, my children deserved better. B, I deserved better. This wasn't one of those things I was supposed to slog through and somehow get to the other side of. yet it was feeling like that. And as I got more and more clear, I did not know what the solution would be, but I ended up making some very specific connections with people to get help with my daughter's health, which led me to the Way of the Heart, the Life Mission Dialogue, which I continue with today, and to that sense that we all need a way to move forward, a way to navigate that includes compassion for all of the messiness, that includes a sense of ignition or inspiration, that includes a sense of okayness, like right here, right now, I'm safe in my own skin, even if I feel like there's lots to learn.
Yeah. And there's lots of chaos going on. There's a safe space. What's your philosophy? What's your approach in your business? Yes, the way of the heart and the safe space and breathing, but how do you help women, parents tie all of this together?
Great question. There are definitely a few different elements. As you say, breathing. If we're not breathing, we don't really have that breathing space to consider the changes we want to make or the changes that are in front of us that have happened by natural circumstances or who knows what circumstances. So we have to be in a more spacious place. So there are specific practices and de-stressing techniques that we work with initially to make some space. And when we make space, then the world doesn't look so daunting. Yeah. We don't revert to fight and flight immediately. From there, we start really taking a creative and playful look at what are your needs, your wants, your desires. I've had conversations with people of all ages, so many different backgrounds. And the common theme has been that they haven't really contemplated or thought about, or even if they've thought about it a little, they haven't really given time and attention to saying, here are my needs, wants, and desires. In what ways can I live these?
And why do you think that is? That they haven't given the time?
Do
we not know how? Do we not see this important?
Part of it. We've been raised to, be the good girl, go down certain pathways that are socially acceptable. And there's nothing wrong with those pathways, but it's not a one size fits all. So we haven't really learned to, as my son would say, think for yourself. We haven't learned to really think for ourselves. We've been encultured to pay attention to what others think we should do. And that's a part of the maturing and the growing and the leaving the nest process. But we still revert back to what we think is most acceptable.
Yeah. Or easiest.
And easiest too, yes. And that's the other thing, is that when you really pay attention to what you need, want, desire, there'll be some bumps, but ultimately it is easier. When you're going down a path that is not as organically, heartfully yours, we end up muscling harder than we do when we're really on a path that feels connected internally.
Where does intention fit in all of this?
I will say that it's a word these days that is being tossed around. It's trendy, right? To say, follow your intention. So I'm careful to say it's important, and there are different ways to speak it to make it more real for you. But if indeed you let yourself really get in touch with the deeper longing, from there you can clarify an intention. You can get more specific around it. And the difference between an intention and a goal, because an intention can support you with your goals, is the intention is the underlying, who am I becoming in going for my goal? And who do I need to be to really stand for that goal? And for every intention, since you mentioned that, there's also a counter intention. And that's part of our training. So every time I say yes, if we look at people in the fitness world, to getting my daily walk in, there are lots of little voices and excuses. And do I really have time? Or will, the fear that I will drop something else if I pick up this ideal, this habit. There's also the voices that say, who are you to have such a beautiful life that you not only take care of your body, but you take care of your mind and your learning, you take care of your spirit and your heart and your joy. Well, guess what? Those little voices want nothing more than to have you stay in the comfort zone. But they're also your trainers. When you hear them, you go, oh, yeah, I know that voice.
Oh, there they are again. Yeah.
Yeah. And we take it lightly instead of like, oh, no, I can't. The little voice told me not to.
Have you seen any changes in the last year and a half with COVID and everything surrounding that socially, mentally, physically? Have you seen any changes in the women that you're talking to and the clients that you're talking to and how they're approaching things?
Yes. On the positive side, so many women have really gotten much more true to what's important. Like this, all the slowing down we did when we were stopped going everywhere all the time, including myself. And I wouldn't have told you I was a go, go, go person. But I discovered there were some parts, it's like, whoa. So there was more reflection, more self-awareness, more reality checks about what's working and what's not at home in our relationships. So a lot of that, and most of it leading to positive changes. I've seen a few where it's felt really hard and really lonely. So that's where people have found their ways mostly to come together in community and to really harness those friendships, those relationships that we need. Not just it's fun, it's a need.
So at this point in time, as we're kind of transitioning, phasing into the next stages, what are some of the most important things we can be doing right now to keep the lessons learned, but move forward with our lives?
It requires, there we come back to intention, being very intentional. What is it that I started doing during COVID times that I wasn't doing before? That I refuse to just drop? And in what ways can we integrate the new, whatever our new is, because it's probably going to be very different from what it was, with some of the foundation things that we started taking care of, being at home more. And definitely paying attention to following what's lighting up. For me, really staying present to my creative process, whether that's doodling or just dancing around the house, whether I'm cleaning or making dinner or whatever. Singing out loud, getting back to getting my hands in the clay. those are things that have really lit up for me more lately. And when I stay in touch with them, they help me stay more lit up across the board. So for anyone, pay attention to where's the energy for you? What does light up? What naturally just makes you smile and go, ah.
So as we head into the second half of this year, what's next for you?
What's next for me? Definitely working with that theme, which we spoke to, of helping people get in touch with what are your real needs, wants, desires, because they're personal. And at the same time, the more we all get in touch with what we need, want, and desire, that really does serve. Because we bring the more natural state of expression and presence out into the world, whatever we're doing. And we also get more in touch with, if indeed there's a change to be made, we can more organically direct it and move forward with it. So I'm excited to be bringing that conversation more out into the world through the life mission explorations, some workshops around need, want, desire. And the way of the heart is now going towards Zoom more with some of our foundation courses. So I'm excited for that as well.
And you do a video on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, or most Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on your Facebook page.
Correct. 8:30 Central.
Well, great. Well, thank you, Sarah. I've enjoyed speaking with you, talking with you today. Had a great time at the Botanic Gardens when you joined us.
Yes, that was lovely. In
front of the waterfall. I love this photo.
Thank you.
And if people want to learn more, where can they find you?
SarahDKarnes.com, and certainly Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Sarah.
Thank you, Peggy. Have a beautiful day.
You too. Take care.